We have some information about the practice range that's coming to Hell Let Loose in patch 14.3, and we also have a little look at some of the bugs that'll be fixed. So to access the practice range, there's just a basic training option on the main menu. I like that they're putting it straight on the main menu and you don't have to go into the field manual or anything like that to access the whole training. And once you choose your kit when in the training area, there's 4 garrisons that'll be listed on the right hand side, named obstacle course, shooting range, building yard, and driving range. Again, it's another nice thing I like. I like that they haven't separated out these training areas into like separate maps. It's good that it's all just in one map. So first we have the obstacle course, and yeah, it's basically a basic obstacle course from any first person shooter that you've probably played. It's something that may not be needed for some players, but for people that may be coming into a first person shooter genre for the first time, just a simple obstacle course like this is fine, and to be honest, looking at the footage, it does the job. If you didn't know, if you press and hold jump to vault, that's better than just spamming your jump button to vault. Press and hold, that's better. Now we have the firing ranges, and the first one you're seeing is called the Rifleman range, and really it's just like a close quarters firing range. And here's the sniper rifle one, gives you a little bit of elevation to get into this little building, and that's really all the sniper rifle practice range is, and a machine gun range where you can get your bipod up and shoot some targets. Now, this isn't quite what is needed in terms of a practice range in Hell Let Loose. The close quarters rifleman range, yeah, that's fine. That's fine, right? Get used to looking at different areas because people could be popping out of windows and stuff. But when it gets to the sniper rifle range, that only goes up to 100 meters, and that's just no way near like long enough at all for Hell Let Loose. Players render in up to 500 meters, so past 500 meters you don't see players because they physically, well, I don't know if physically is the right word, but they won't render in, you just can't see them. And as a sniper, I say especially with the Kar 98, you could be hitting those shots up to and over 400 meters because you will see people. And I think the firing range needs to go up to 400 meters. And that firing range is just not limited to the sniper rifle role. Any other class, I believe, will be able to just go to that part of the range and use that instead. And that's where I think most people will be using their weapons, because they want to see how well or how good those weapons are at shooting at range, how much do they need to adjust for in terms of bullet drop. But there's one like crucial thing that's missing from the practice ranges, and it's moving targets. There's no practice for shooting something that's moving left and right. And when you're in a firefight, not everyone's just going to be standing still, so it will be good to get just some moving targets that just move on preset like little tracks that just keep going left and right at each of those ranges that will be in the range, because you need something like that in there so you can see how long it takes for your bullet to actually travel and hit the target, and then you can figure out how much you need to aim ahead of a moving target. You really need to add moving targets into these ranges. But it's a good start, and let's hope they add to it down the line. Now onto the building yard, and here you can build anything from your faction, and I guess there's no like supply requirements or there's infinite supplies. So yeah, people can get used to building all the different fortifications for your team, get used to building resource nodes, all that sort of stuff. But crucially, what I think's missing here is information. Why do you build nodes? What do the nodes do? The repair station, what does it do? How do people use the repair station? Because I don't think everyone knows. You may just need to drive up to it and it'll repair your tank. Again, like the firing range, it's a good start, but yeah, it's just missing that extra little bit more. Just that extra little bit of information. Maybe put something like a board in the game. In this area, have a big wooden board which will tell you why you need to build certain things and what they do. Now, I don't think this is a separate range, but it's just showing that you can build an anti-tank gun and shoot at some tanks that are just up ahead here, and that's fine. There isn't really any specific information they're showing to say any tanks do like this amount of like damage to certain tanks or can one-shot these tanks in these locations. I think that's fine. Leave that to the players to experiment and get used to it. They need to make sure that the tanks in this area respawn quite quickly so people can keep experimenting. But currently the first iteration, I think it is just the German tanks you can shoot at, but down the line they'll add in different ways you can shoot at the other enemy tanks, just so you can get used to how much damage the anti-tank guns do to the other tanks in the game. And yeah, I think this is fine, to be honest. And now a little tank range. Yeah, it's fine. It's just an open area. You can drive the tanks around. I will probably get a bit of use out of this because I just suck at tanks. And that's just because I don't play tanks. I just prefer playing infantry. That's just the kind of person I am. But this tank driving range, it's absolutely fine. And lastly, onto the tank firing range. Now, this doesn't seem to be really what it needs to be. There's no enemy tanks here you can actually shoot at. And that house you're seeing now, that's the rifleman firing range, I believe. There's no enemy tanks you can see around, at least in this video. I'm pretty sure you'd be able to see the tanks that are being shot at through the anti-tank gun, which you saw earlier in the video. But there needs to be more enemy tanks just sat around so you can shoot at them. And ideally, enemy tanks that are driving around, especially at long range, so you can practice shooting enemy tanks at long range. Again, like a lot of things in the first iteration of these ranges, it's a good start, it's just not quite there yet. And we get a list of confirmed bugs that have been fixed in the patch 14.3, which is what this training area or practice range will be coming into the game with. And the bugs that will be fixed, so we have some console exclusive ones. The Xbox, the reloading some guns produces incomplete sounds is fixed. Gunfire sounds delayed for some rifles is fixed. Missing reload sound of the Kar 98 is fixed. The PS5, the British vehicles, do not have adaptive trigger setup, that's fixed. PC specific bugs, some servers just don't appear in the server browser, that's fixed. FOV is being correctly optimized for ultra wide monitors. Some old game analytics are being removed from the game, which should help with increased performance. The famed double explosion visual effects bug, that is apparently being fixed. That is when if you see something exploding and you'll just see like these explosions like flickering around, that's being fixed. Micro stuttering's being improved. British weapons no longer have increased sway when ADSing. The British recon tank will no longer pull in one certain direction. The Lewis gun will now shoot straight. The Panther no longer has a fast reload than the Tiger heavy tank. All the Lee Enfield variants, that's the number 4 Mark 1, the Jungle Carbine, and the P14. Their third person reload animation has been fixed. Now this is one I didn't know about, but weapon displacement appears when stood leaning left and aiming down sights of certain weapons across all factions. I'm not entirely sure what they mean by that, but if there's been an issue when leaning left and shooting and it's now fixed, that's a good thing. And lastly, the ping is off center when using the British binoculars. That is fixed. And then lastly, in the dev brief, we have a shout out to some videos of different creators out there. One is Soul Sniper. He is a war correspondent, which is basically a partnered creator with Team 17 or Cover 6 for Hell Let Loose. He's been sort of MIA a bit recently, not really making videos, but that's unfortunately because his house burnt down. So if you want to support him, I'll put his link in the description. It's a GoFundMe link to help him recover the losses from an unfortunate house fire, and I'll put the link for his video that's being, well, linked in this dev brief. There's one of my videos being shown, the Hunted video, where Rasbor and the Beer Clan hosted a special event where a number of players would hunt down like 3 to 6 players. It could be like 30 to 50 players hunting down this small group of 3 to 6. They need to make it to an extract point. It was really good. I've put a video up and it was a really good mode. Check out the video. Then lastly, a link to the People's League Season 2 and one of the matches between KRRC and the 83rd AR. That link will be in the description below. It's a competitive game, so if you're interested in the competitive scene of Hell Let Loose, check it out. Patch 14.2 recently released, which removed the increased sprint speed, removed the dive to prone animation, and did some other little things with the game. I have yet to play 14.2. I've just been a bit busy, to be honest. If you've played it, and if you've got any thoughts on what the sprint speed is, because apparently the sprint speed is not the pre-update 14 sprint speed. Apparently it's the pre-update 8 sprint speed, which is where it was faster than what it used to be, but then Black Matter toned it down to stop people zigzagging and getting like really quick like zigzags. They toned it down because of that, so then it was lowered to the really slow speed, the pre-update 14 speed, and then update 14 made it faster than the pre-update 8 speed, so it shouldn't feel as slow as it used to. But again, the original creators of Hell Let Loose, Black Matter, they lowered the speed from what it apparently is now because they didn't like how effective zigzagging was. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you like this video, give it a like. If you disliked it, thank you for watching towards the end. Let me know what you disliked about it in the comments below. Thank you for watching, subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one.